What's going on? Welcome in to Dollars to Deuces, episode number 44. Talking week 14 NFL spreads, player props, survivor pool, some confidence pool talk as well. This is a Total Styles production. And as always, I'm joined by the Frito Bandito himself, Rich. I know you've been on vacation, but you're back hard at it. So how's that going?
Yeah, long vacation. I'm a lot of honeydew lists from my wife, and then from my aunt when I went and visited her up in Joplin. Ended up doing a lot of work at her house this weekend, and pretty much did honeydews all freaking week.
That's okay. And you won a little money at the casino, which I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, I won a little bit under $300. Started out with 40, won 300. By the time it was all said and done, walked out with 120 around there.
Hey, walking out a winner is good.
Yeah, anytime you walk out with money is always a good day.
Yeah.
Well, I should have walked out with the whole 300, but I was with family and I couldn't leave because I'm the one that drove them all there.
Don't leave them. Just keep gambling. You'll be fine.
Yeah. That's the reason why I left out with 120. If I'm seriously, if I was by myself, as soon as I hit those two, I would have packed up shop and walked out. But because I was there waiting for them for 2 hours, those machines kept calling my name back, and it's like 20 here, 20 there. I'm good. Next thing you know, it just started eating my 20s.
That'll happen. Also joined by Abe at MVNFF. What's up, bud?
How we doing? Just back for another week. Off a Packers W this week, so that's been a kind of that's been kind of a rarity in this show this year. So and going into a bye week, so we don't have anything to worry about this week. So we're back. We're ready to roll. A lot of buys this week.
It's weird. There was only 2 last week.
Yeah, there was none the week before during Thanksgiving. So this is the last week of buys. So they hammered home with I think 6 different teams. So a lot going on. I have not done a whole lot of research yet. I've been really busy at work and doing some things in the community and stuff. So, but we're ready to get the NFL season kicked off tonight.
So real quick, I put it up here on the screen. Here's the teams that are on the week 14 bye. It's kind of coincidence that basically all these teams are out of the hunt.
Yeah. We're not
I
dead
was underlining the Packers, maybe not out of the hunt yet.
The Commandos, they're in.
Oh, yeah, Commandos are still in it. Yeah, you're right.
The rest of them.
I like how we put Commandos up there.
That's what we call them on this show. Oh, yeah. You can follow the show on Twitter at Total Titles. You can find me on Twitter at Nate_Dirt19. Abe is at MVinFF. Rich is at the Freedom Bandito _FF. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Twitch, Facebook. Did I miss any of them? I don't think so. And I'll always check out. If you're listening to us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. We're getting closer to. I think we're almost at 850 now, maybe.
Yes, and also real quick, I'm going to throw up there since you just brought that up. Let me scroll down. For every sub that we get up to Christmas, we will be donating $2 for every sub to St. Jude's. I know Jason is going to match whatever we do, and I've also said that I'm going ahead and match whatever we do too. So for a great cause, so please go on there. Let's subscribe and let's break all our banks on that.
Oh yeah. Also check out our website totalstyles.com. All our content is on there. Articles, videos, everything we've been doing. We actually I think was that yesterday, they added a link for Fanatics. So I think you get a little bit of a break, and you don't have to, if you go to our website, totalstyles.com, it's at the top, click the link. Helps us out, helps you out, and you can still use all their promo codes. I think right now when I looked, the last one, there's like 65% off of stuff. So, it kind of helps everybody out. So check that out. We would really appreciate it. And same with patreon.com/Total Titles. Hop in there, check it out. Bunch of different tiers. George is always there to talk, as well as all the other shows he's on. Friday nights, Sunday mornings. Rich is usually with him Sunday mornings on the Blitz, calling him before the show. Or before the games all start. So check that out too. I think that's all I got, right? Got through it all? Good to go?
Sir.
So we talk survivor pool real quick. I blew it last week. I don't know why I ever thought what part of me thought that the Jaguars would like make that a game? I didn't think they'd get beat by 30 points, but I thought it'd be a little closer than that. So, I lost. I had like 5 or 6 in a row too. I know Abe's been killing it, and Rich, you got a couple in a row. So, they both were good. Abe had the Browns last week. Rich had the Seahawks. So this week, I'm going with the Eagles. I think foreshadowing what's going to happen. You guys both picked the Giants to cover. I don't know if you think they'll win. I just think that Eagles team's rolling, and I don't know who's going to stop them currently. I still got the Eagles to go. So give me the Eagles. Abe?
I'm picking Seattle at home against Carolina. Carolina's been going cross country quite a bit this year. They don't know who their quarterback is week to week. They don't know who their running backs are.
It's not Baker anymore.
It's not Baker anymore. No, Baker might have flown on the same flight out west and then just had a little south once he got out there. But so I got the Seahawks minus. I have them just winning actually against the Panthers, and we'll kind of discuss that game later. But I think them playing at home against the Carolina team. Carolina is, I guess, still kind of in the hunt, especially in the South. So maybe it'll be a little bit closer. I think that's why that spread's a little bit closer. But ultimately, I don't know if they can go out to Seattle and get a W against Seattle. So I have the Seahawks.
And we are in week 14. And we just talking with Nate before the show. And week 14, and I'm actually picking the Raiders as my survivor pool pick against the Rams. The Rams actually gave the Seahawks a run for their money last week and made it real close. But it's Thursday. Hopefully they play Baker. Abe says that they're going to play him. I'm hoping that they play him, but I don't see it happening. But yeah, I'm picking the Raiders over the Rams. I think this is. I hope it ain't as close as the Seahawks and Rams game last week. So
the Rams could have won that game. They should have won that game actually.
Hence the reason why. Shot us little insight. I think I'm picking the Panthers over the Seahawks this week.
No way, no chance. Gino's gonna be ready. He's back after a close game. I hope. Last week, a pretty fun week of football. Some good games. Some games like we expected. I guess we didn't have a ton of player props. We can go over a little quick. That Thursday night game, Bills Patriots. Abe and I both had Isaiah McKenzie over his total of 32.5, hit with 44. I had James Cook over 15.5. He had rushing yards. He had 64. Ed Oliver and Matt Judon did not get a sack. That was just for the hell of it. Neither one of them did. Abe missed on Ramondre over his receiving yards, only 24. Josh Allen says rushing yards. Of 42.5, he only had 20. He just didn't run the ball much. He just didn't really have to, though. You know what I mean? I think they kind of controlled it. So, Rich had the Ramondre's combined yardage over 102.5. He only had 78 yards. So, Patriots.
Yeah, hence the reason why Mac Jones, you could read him. Why are we not passing? We can't freaking run the damn ball. I don't know if you guys saw that, but.
Yeah. Yeah, he was not happy.
Browns Texans. I had first drive touchdown for the Browns because they've been doing, and of course they didn't. They punted it like 4 damn times, and then had a safety and a field goal or something. It was like 5-7 at one point when the Texans returned a punt. So that was neat. And Nick Chubb, what the hell did he? It's like he just didn't want to play. I mean, over 125. Abe said he only had 80 yards. I think his over under was probably close to that. But
it was around 8. Like at kickoff, it was around 88.5.
George does not like Mac Jones, and that's okay. You don't need to. I love it. He says that, and I'll give it to Mac. He has no weapons either, but he just doesn't. He's taking care of the ball better than he was by just not throwing it because he was throwing a bunch of interceptions early in the year. Nico Collins over his receiving yards only had 35. Rich had Watson's over his rushing yards, and I don't know what it was. I didn't really ever check.
I didn't go back and check either and stuff, but he got 21 rushing yards. I would like to think that would be a hit, but I just don't know because I couldn't verify that. So he should have been higher because he was running for his life.
Okay, that first drive field goal in the Falcons game. Did they hit that?
Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So we got that one. That's my favorite bet, I think. My favorite game, by the way, was when the 49ers beat the Dolphins with Brock Purdy. Besides the Packers winning. Sorry, George. That wasn't a slight at you. It just was awesome to watch. Yeah, Kittle didn't have a big game. Debo didn't. That game was weird. That I think that's just what they're going to be going forward. Run. Chiefs Bengals. Rich had Mahomes passing yards. Missed that over 258. And he had 258. I think it was over 300 probably.
It would have been over. I didn't go back and look, but there's no one. It should have been higher than 300. I would have thought. Yeah.
Chargers Raiders. Pat Eckler scored twice. I don't think I told you that wasn't directed at you, George. I'm sorry. Okay, you'll be fine this week. You got a good game, good matchup. Sunday Night Football. It'll be fun for you. And Rich had Saints under total of 17.5 points, and they scored 16 points. They should have scored more, but I don't know what the hell they were doing. That was a wild ending to that game. Another one for the Bucks. So. Long shot bets, of course, none of those hit. One of these days, one of them's going to hit.
This week.
You were close.
I feel it this week.
Yeah, the one I put down, it's not that. I don't know if it hits. That'd be funny.
Mine's a really long shot this week.
Well, I was going to just say
it's going to be more than 100 to 1 odds.
I was going to say Josh Jacobs scored 3 touchdowns or Devontae Adams scored 3 touchdowns. That's like, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to jinx Rich. So last week, Rich led the way. He was 9-6 last week, so nice work. When I was counting these up too, I was looking. I was like, God damn! I was like, I didn't do very good. Like, kind of worried, And then like it kind of like got a little better. I was 7-8, and Abe was 6-9. I'm 92, 98.5. Abe's 90, 105. It's getting hard to say these. And Rich, like I said, leading the way with 94, 96, and 5. So we'll get into it. Like I said, there's 6 teams on bye this week. Rich said earlier. Falcons, Bears, Packers, Colts, Commandos, and Saints. So last of the bye week. So we've made it that far, which is kind of worrisome. It's weird that we're this far along. So tomorrow night, the Raiders traveling to LA to play the Rams. Raiders on a 3-game win streak, looking good. It came out of nowhere. It seems like. I don't know if they're gonna stay going and keep winning. Their schedule is tough. I know the remainder of the year.
If you really sit there and think about it, they only have one tough game. That's against the Chiefs. I think. Because we're playing the Rams. Off the top of my head, I don't think it's as hard as everybody thinks it is. Now at the beginning of the season, I would have said so, but everything is kind of turned. I think we still play the 49ers too. So,
do you get to play the Broncos?
We've already played them twice, beat them.
Oh, you did play twice. That's right.
Chargers, we already played twice. Kansas City is the only one. So I think we play the 49ers, the Rams. I want to say the Colt. No.
I got it right here. We got Rams this week, then New England, then at Pittsburgh, then home against San Fran, and home against Kansas City.
Kansas City is the only one I'm worried about.
I'd worry about the 49ers.
Josh McDaniels against the Patriots. That's going to be a good one.
That's in Vegas too.
Yeah. So I'll let Rich. You can go first since these are your boys. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So this is kind of like the storybook. Come from behind after being so bad at the beginning of the season. All close games, shall we say? Raiders going to pull off 4 in a row. They're hitting their stride. They're kind of understanding the coach's offense, defense. Man, they picked up Tillery 2 weeks ago, and he's been a key asset for the defense, clogging up the middle of that line. Frickin' Chandler Jones had a huge game last week. He's finally paying off after we paid him this offseason. So Hobbs is back on the corners and stuff like that. And the people that actually have been burning us is actually all hurt. So I think that's another reason that's helping us. We just keep them IR for the rest of the year. I'd be fine with that because right now the defense is kind of gelling. They've done pretty decent the last 2-3 weeks. And Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, they are like in sync. I mean, there's a few misses here and there, but dude, I don't understand the last 2-3 games how people don't guard Devontae Adams the way they do. I mean, you guys understand it. You guys have been Packer fans with Devontae Adams there, and it's
they
like
do. He's just that good.
I think people try to guard him. He's that great.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's just like it's amazing how wide open he gets on some of these plays. But there's also some plays where it's real, where they're like tight and everything, and it's just, but man, it just blows me away. Adams is killing it. Jacobs leading the NFL rushing. Come on, man, you got to pick the Raiders against the Rams this week. I've also got the Carr over 248.5 passing yards and over 21.5 completions. I went back and looked. He has 3 games where he didn't go over 21 receptions this year. And then I also went back, and he hasn't been lighting it up as far as yardage and everything, but freaking damn Geno freaking lit up the Rams last week. I see Carr doing the same thing this week.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm on the Raiders also. At one point in time, I think it was after their first win during this winning streak, that someone on, I think it was NFL Network, or it was a show I was watching, and they think that the Raiders are going to win out. And at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, this team is, kind of in limbo, but they won a couple games in overtime by scoring a touchdown.
Back-to-back weeks too.
Back-to-back weeks, yeah. And then all of a sudden, had a good win this past week against the Chargers. This team's getting better. I mean, that's all there is to it. This team was, we picked to be much better than what they've shown all year.
Yeah.
But this takes time. And when you get a new wide receiver, even though him and Carr played in college together, and you have, you've had a lot of injuries with Waller and, there are other wide receiver that I like. I can't think of his name right now. Renfro? Yeah. They've had some injuries and stuff like that. I think that they finally realized just throw Devontae the ball, just let Josh Jacobs run and open up things for Devontae. Both those guys complement each other so much, and it doesn't even go like said. It doesn't need to be said, because when you have a threat like Devontae on the outside and you have someone that can run the ball like Jacobs, it just opens up everything. And defenses, there's no way you can stop it. So the Raiders are playing well, and the Rams are terrible. I don't know if Baker's going to play. I have a hunch he's gonna. It sounds like that they're going to try to get him in. I don't know if he'll play the whole game or if he'll play the second half or what will happen. I don't know, but I think he's going to play. So that will be interesting, having a quarterback that's only been on the field with him for a day, leading into it.
I mean, he can't be much worse than Bryce Perkins.
You're right. He can't be. So I have the Raiders covering 6 on the road at LA. There's a couple of player props I like. I like Devontae Adams under 7.5 receptions. I think he gets 6 or 7. I don't know if he has to play a lot in this game. I have a feeling this game's not going to be close in the fourth quarter. And then my other player prop is Akers' longest rush over 10.5 yards. This run team between him and Kyron Williams, I have no idea what to predict. I mean, it's harder than to predict this than it is Patriot stuff right now. But I think that Akers can at least, run one off. He might play if it's garbage time. Maybe Kyron Williams plays if it's garbage time. I don't know. But I think 10.5 yards at any point, if someone gets through that first set of defense, they can get 10.5, 11 yards on a carry. Cam Akers is one guy I've been highly disappointed with. This guy is an NFL, like he's a smart football player, like to the point where when he came out of college, a lot of people said like this guy has the smarts to be like he sees things like a quarterback does, and his knowledge of football is awesome. His has a really high football IQ, he's just been so disappointing. So I don't know if he gets some garbage time this week. I don't know if he plays in the first half. I don't know what's going to happen with this team, but I do think he rips off a run longer than 11.
I'm on the Raiders too. I'm sorry, Rich, we're all on the Raiders, but I can't pick the Rams. I like Jacobs over 87.5 rushing yards. Benny Skowronek over 28.5 receiving yards. He's kind of – I wanted it to be Van Jefferson, but Skowronek's been pretty both those guys are kind of the one. I don't know. I mean, it'll be helpful, I think, if Baker Mayfield's there. I know they're really not on the same page, but Bryce Perkins is not on the same page either. Couldn't find Chandler Jones' sack prop. He finally played well last week, like Rich said, but I like Max Crosby over 4.5 tackles too. So.
When I first read that, I thought that said 4.5 sacks. I'm like, Damn.
There's my long shot.
That needs to be moved down to long shot bets.
Yeah. No, 4.5 tackles. He played well last week too. So I think, with the emergence of Chandler Jones finally like remembering like, oh, hey, this is what I do. It's going to open up things for him. So moving on, this one was wild. I had to look at this. Like we all said the same thing. Vikings at the Lions. The Lions are laying 2 points at home. I don't know. That's incredible to me. I know they just put up 40 points on the Jaguars last weekend, but the Vikings are, were they 10-2? That's pretty wild that a 10-win team is getting points.
10-2, but to be honest with you, their point differential, as far as like compared to other NFL teams, I think their point differential for the whole season is like +7, where like say Eagles and everybody else are like +20, 30, +40.
So last year, I think it was last year, the year before, whatever. They had like 7 or 8 one-score games and they lost them all. Well, this year they've won all those, and that's just kind of how that goes. Like it's a coin flip thing. Like it doesn't really, winning one-score games. I don't think, in my opinion, makes you like a great team. I think it's just kind of the way the ball bounced. I mean, obviously you want to win them all, but I don't know. I'm not big on the Vikings, anyways. I don't know. I know they got a ton of weapons, but give me the Lions laying points at home. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like you should pick the better team that's getting points on the road. But, Dan Campbell had me kind of fired up last week. Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift to score, I think, is like the weekly special. But usually Swift doesn't score. Maybe this is the week. It looks like he's actually getting a lot more carries. So, but I like Dalvin Cook over 75.5 rushing yards. This, I think, is going to be a shootout. But I still think, he'll be able to run the ball. So, give me the Lions. Hey.
I have the Vikings. When I first started getting into betting, a person very, very close to me, who I was asking, like, what does spreads mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? His first advice he ever told me was, when something seems too good to be true, bet opposite. And here I am still not listening to him X amount of years later. The Vikings +2, a 10-2 team playing at Detroit just does not seem right that they're +2. I mean, anyone that's 10-2, when you're facing a team that has 5 wins, the Lions are 5-7, I think. So you have, you're 5 games ahead of them in the division, and you're still getting points. It seems very, very odd. So I don't know why that is. Obviously, Vegas knows more than we do. I think this game opened up. Jared was the one that told me. I think he said that this opened up at the Vikings minus a 1.5 or maybe even 2, and this spread has moved that much. Obviously, there's a bunch of people laying money on the Lions. So, I'm gonna go with obvious reasons and say the Vikings cover that. I like the over in this game. 52.5, I think, is pretty low for this. Both secondaries and defenses. The Lions have played better defense. I think they've played better against the run than they have against the pass in recent weeks. So I think that this game kind of turns into a track meet. So I like the over 52.5. I like the Vikings over their individual of 25.5. And then I don't know. They don't have TJ Hawkinson's props out yet, but I have him. Is it out now? It wasn't out when I did this afternoon, but I have his line at 5 for 60 and a touchdown. Obviously, he knows the Lions pretty well. The Lions know him pretty well. But the Lions are going to have to focus on a guy by the name of Justin Jefferson, which might leave some openings for Hawkinson. So I think he has a pretty good game himself. What do you think, Rick?
Yardage total is 48.5, and catches are 4.5.
4.5,
so
yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to put Johnny Munt down for my prop over 5.5 yards.
That's a great call there.
I
also am going Vikings. What's interesting, I was looking at player props for this game, and when I looked at the halftime over under, it was like 28, somewhere around 27.5. I was like, damn, that's pretty high for a halftime game. But when I realized the two teams that they're playing and stuff like that, Vikings defense is easy to score upon. You would almost say the same thing about the Lions, but the Lions defense has stepped up recently too. I mean, their defense hasn't been that bad.
It's only when you play the Packers. You're a historically bad defense, and then you play the Packers, you look really good. Same with the Bears last weekend.
So instead of going with the half, I went with the Vikings over their first quarter of 10 points.
Yeah, I like that. Eagles, Giants. Giants getting 7 points at home. After a tie last week. What a letdown. I'm pissed I missed that one. I thought the Commandos would do it, and it's just a tie. That's just, God. Yeah, I know it's the World Cup, so maybe it's okay to tie right now because that's what those idiots do. But like, come on.
That's fitting. That's fitting. You said that.
Was that wrong?
No, that was perfect. That was a perfect.
Actually, I think
with soccer going on.
I think they do shootouts in the World Cup because they don't want to drag it out any longer than 3 months. So
that's true.
Give me the Eagles. They looked so good last week. God, they just beat the hell out of the Titans, and the Titans are a tough football team. Their defense has played really well. It wasn't even close. AJ Brown made a couple catches that you just shake your head. The guy is like literally just on top of him. Hurts looked great. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna. Like I said, I said it earlier. I don't know who's gonna stop that team. I know the Giants. I thought after watching that game, they looked like the better team out there than the Commandos. But I'll take the Eagles winning by a touchdown. So
yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles too. We already talked about the Raiders, and we're talking about the Eagles. Two things in common with these two teams: both teams have running backs that nobody wanted to pick and draft. I mean, you were picking Jacobs 6th round or later. Sanders probably went in some draft 9 rounds or later, but 2 of them are playing for contracts this year, and both running backs are freaking excelling like no other and everything. I mean, Sanders looks great. Freaking AJ Brown. I picked the Titans last week to win. I not even thinking AJ Brown was on the Eagles, just totally flipped out about that. He had 1 touchdown return back. And then the very next play scores a touchdown. I don't know, maybe not the very next play, but end up scoring anyways on the drive. The Eagles embarrass the Titans. I'm going with the Eagles this week. I know Giants are at home and everything, but damn, the Eagles are I mean, they're
Joe's going to be mad at us.
Yeah, Joe's going to be mad. Is he still watching?
He might be.
All right,
hey,
Joe,
go ahead, Abe.
Here you go, Joe. I'm taking the Giants +7 at home. Division games, I don't care how good you are, how not good you are. The Giants are still above 500. I did say a couple weeks ago that I think we see them start kind of falling off the map a little bit because I think they overachieved a lot earlier in the season. But I think a touchdown at home interdivision for 2 teams that are above 500. I think the Eagles are far and above better than the Giants on paper. Even on the field, they're better. But a touchdown for an interdivision game at home is a lot, in my opinion. So that's the reason why I'm picking the Giants. I think the Eagles win this game. And the Eagles probably are up 2 scores, most of this game. But the Giants, they don't quit. This is a team that has been in a lot of close games themselves this year. So I just think ultimately they bring this within a score late. I don't know if it's some backdoor touchdown that's late or not. I don't know what it is. I do think that they've rode the back of Saquon running the ball a lot this year, and he's been awesome. But this Eagles front does not allow Saquon. A lot of his success has been against been up to middle, left tackle, left guard, right tackle, right guard. It's not as much stuff outside. And that Eagles, the middle of their defense, that front four, the middle of their front four is nasty, and they can sub guys in and out, and it doesn't matter. So
Robert Quinn went on IR this week. I'm pretty worried.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I don't even know if he had like 3 tackles since.
Yeah, I don't know.
Once a bum, always a bum.
Yes, but I like the Giants +7. I mean, am I completely confident in this? No, but it's the statistics show us that interdivision games, when 2 teams are above 500, that team usually covers over 60% of the time. So that's why I'm taking the Giants +7.
60% of the time works every time.
Yeah.
I also like Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns and AJ Brown to score. Jets at Bills, another big division game. It's like a playoff game, which is weird to say. The Jets coming off a tough loss to the Vikings. Gosh darn it, all the hell! I thought Magic Mike was going to do it. I was pumped. He played well though. Bills laying 9.5 points at home. I don't know why. You know what? Actually, Rich, you go first on this one. You're the lone man here.
Yeah. So the Bills were over against division games this week until last week, and they beat the Pats. They're going to be playing the Jets. The Jets just beat them 2-3 weeks ago. which we did call. I think me and Abe called it that time too. The Jets winning on that week, but I think the Bills are they're not going to let that happen again. It's at home. The Bills. I see them covering this. I think they're going to blow the Jets away and stuff like that. I think Allen's going to have a huge game on the ground. I think last time he ran for 8 yards and 84 yards against the Jets, and although he didn't have a big game last week, he will have a big game against, because the Pats secondary is pretty decent. I think the Bills were embarrassed about losing to him last time, and they just blow him out of the water this time. I like it.
Hey.
I'm going to the JETS, Jets. Bills are playing really good. They're playing at home. Once again, division game. 9.5 point spread. I think that is too much, even for a Bills team that beat everyone last year. Every win they had was by more than 10 points. I just think this is a little too much. The Bills have kind of changed their way they've played the last couple of weeks, and they've run the ball a lot. And they found success doing it, which is odd because we never thought that Singletary and Zach Moss could do that. But I think they're finding a little bit in Cook and James Cook. He's ran the ball
Jimmy
well.
Cook's a baller, dude.
He's a baller, man. He's good. But so I don't know if they stick with that strategy. If they do, I think the Jets have a little bit more problems in this. But that might actually bode well for the Jets, because that means that's less up and down, and that's where the Jets cannot play with the Bills. So. But I have the Jets covering the 9.5 points. I also think that the Bills, they might be looking that playoff picture in their schedule a little bit. And they got a big division game the next week against the Dolphins. And you never know. Sometimes people like to look a little forward and get a little bit caught up in the game. So that's why I'm picking the Jets plus 9.5.
You don't look past the Jets, especially after you just lost to them.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like they beat the spread. The Jets beat the Bills.
Yeah,
and I think they're looking at this game. I don't think they're looking past this game. They, like I said, they've been over in the division, and they take that trend a different way, starting last week, going into the next 2-3 weeks. Oh, and real quick, I did have Allen over 7.5 rushing attempts.
I like that.
I'm taking the Jets, getting points on the road. I don't know if they win. But, I like the Jets and Magic Mike. So, and also Singletary, over 44.5 rushing yards. Like Abe said, they have been running the ball a lot with him. He looks good. He always did at Florida Atlantic, and he said he's finally starting to look good again. And I like Magic Mike over 3.5 rushing yards.
Magic Mike Lightning, as Nate would say.
Magic Mike White Lightning. Got it. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm so happy he's the starter. Texans going the long road to Dallas. Cowboys laying 16.5 points at home. That's got to be the biggest spread we've had this year in the NFL, right?
Wasn't there like an 18.5?
Was there?
I might be
wrong. Know. Doesn't matter. I'm taking the Cowboys. The Texans are really bad. They're going the worst. They keep going the wrong direction, like I said the other day. I think I said that they keep getting worse. Cowboys have been like blowing teams out, which is not a Mike McCarthy thing to do. As Abe and I always watched, he would get up by like 17 and be like, yeah, we're good. And then somebody come back, make it close. But I think it's 3 weeks in a row that the Cowboys have looked good. They just, last week they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's insane to me. Dak looks good. Zeke, Pollard, the whole crew. And Micah Parsons I think you could line him up at wide receiver and he could probably do pretty well. So yeah, give me the Cowboys laying the points at home. Abe.
This is actually probably my toughest game, and it's a darn near 17-point spread. 3-score difference. This was difficult for me. I ultimately picked the Texans just because you just don't. It's hard to predict a blowout in the NFL. So I'm picking the Texans. One thing to kind of keep in mind and look forward to: the Cowboys have outscored their opponents in the fourth quarter 77-7 the last 5 weeks. That is pure domination. Like Nate said, we're not used to that with Mike McCarthy. But they also have a good defense, where McCarthy only had a good defense with Green Bay for a year or two. So, but the Texans they're terrible. They are terrible. But and the Cowboys are really good. I think the Cowboys are playing at a high level. They're playing right up there with their top teams in the NFL. But 3-score difference on a game is hard for me to to pick someone doing that unless you're. I guess I picked it a few weeks ago at the 15.5 points when the Chiefs were favored against the Rams, but it's a tough one to pick. But ultimately, I think I don't know if the Texans cover 16.5, but that's what I had to go with on my gut instinct.
Dave, you're right on point. Go ahead.
I'm just watching a highlight on this Tage Thompson guy for the Buffalo Sabres. Scored 5 goals tonight. He had 4 goals in the first period.
Wow.
Jesus. I've never seen that's wild. Good on you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rich.
Man,
sorry. Didn't mean to switch things up.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Man, look, I know Cowboys blew out the game last week, and maybe that's one reason why. Well, it ain't the only reason why, because they're playing the Texans. I get it. But yeah, 16.5.
They beat the Vikings by 37 points, by the way.
Yes, I get it. It just, man, 16.5.
They also were beating the Giants by by 17 points, and then the backdoor cover by the Giants to lose by 10 or whatever. And I think they've lost by 7. But anyways, yeah, like I said, they've been. I don't know.
I can't find it in myself to pick the Cowboys 6.5. Even they've been doing, like I said, I get it. They've been doing great.
How are they going to score? Is Nico Collins even, or is Brandon Cooks playing?
He didn't play last week, and everything.
Zeke and Pollard are going to run for probably 400 yards.
I'm picking Texans just to, yeah. I think, yeah, that's a lot to score in the NFL. And I know the Texans are bad and everything. Maybe freaking David Mills comes back and he helps that. Let's hope for David Mills.
I don't understand. I mean, I know you're trying different quarterbacks, but why? I mean, what's the point at this point? Like, Davis Mills is, they're going to draft a quarterback, but Davis Mills actually gave you some chances to win games.
I agree.
I don't think it's him. He's a serviceable quarterback that I think that you could build around with some good pieces. I mean, he's not Josh Allen. He's not Justin Herbert, but he's a smart quarterback. He's not going to turn the ball over. He can make throws.
But in my opinion, I mean, we talk about tanking in the NFL. I mean, this is a little bit too obvious for me that they don't go back to Davis Mills because that team is not good. I mean, they don't on paper they don't have much at all.
They have anything. They have Damian Pierce.
And he's kind of fallen. He's fallen off quite a bit. So
yeah,
at that point in time, like, I mean, they just don't. It's almost like they're giving up, and it's embarrassing to watch. But fortunately, there's not a lot of Texans fans. So
I still got the Arian Foster jersey.
Don't worry.
I still got my Arian Foster jersey. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Browns, Bengals. I don't know why. I guess because Joe Burrow doesn't play good against the Browns. The Browns aren't good. They stink. They have no defense. Joe Burrow's going to light them up. I think his prop for over 2.5 touchdowns is like plus money. I should have put that down there. I like that. The Bengals just beat the Chiefs. They're the big dogs now. They're getting hot at the right time. Hopefully Joe Mixon's back. Obviously they have the full complement of receivers back. Their defense is playing extremely well. I don't think the Browns have a chance. I know Nick Chubb, I won't probably take his over in this game just because the Bengals defense has gotten – yeah, exactly. How well the Bengals defense has been playing. So, yeah, give me the Bengals at home laying the points. I don't know. I don't see the Bengals losing another game this year.
All right, so what's the odds? What would have been the odds at the beginning of the season, Abe, that Nate did not pick Nate Chubb over under on any on a game at all? Any game at all?
Yeah, that's shocking. That is shocking.
They're not going to be able to run the ball because they're going to be down by 21 at halftime.
Well, then take the under. If that's, I'm like, I don't know even what to say anymore.
Well, they don't have the prop out there, and I didn't look that hard. I just wanted to see Joe Burrow light it up.
So
I'm a little bitter. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have the Browns. Look, divisional game. This division right here is one of the only that I always hold true to. Is this division right here? When it's division games, they're always low scoring games and stuff like that, and they're competitive games between both sides and everything. No matter how bad one team is and stuff like that. Browns defense looked awesome last week. I think George put it in the tents. I know, but still, 3 defensive TDs.
He's talking about that's a different game. That's older. That's an old.
Oh, was that a different one? Did the Browns not have 3 defensive scores last week?
Or maybe that was the one he was talking about.
I want to say it was.
Yeah, because Chubb didn't score. I remember that. I'm a little bitter about that. So,
yeah, look, I expect the Bengals to win the game, but to cover the -6 spread, I think it's going to be by a field goal. I have Watson going under 225 .5 passing yards. Still think he's a little rusty. Still got to get that chemistry with all his receivers. I hope he finds it quick with Cooper. But yeah, I think he's still going to be a little rusty. He looked horrible last week. And I need him to be better.
He had a 53.4. Yeah, that's good. He's looking good. Threw over 130 yards. He's ready against a really good defense.
Go ahead, Abe.
I'm picking the Browns +6 also. This one is also pretty difficult for me to choose. Obviously, everyone that's watched this show knows that I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan. And let's be honest, when we watch this Bengals team, having Jamar Chase on the field matters for everyone. This is a night and day team when he's on the field. And Tyler Boyd looked better finally last week for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks. They're a better team with Chase on the field. I get all that. I know at the beginning of the year, I'm like, hey, it's the Browns. It's the Browns. They lose. But I think it does help that Watson got a game under his belt. It is a division game. Once again, we're talking about a touchdown spread pretty much. So I have the Browns +6. I'm not confident in it because I'm a huge Burrow fan myself. I know the Bengals have they've had a very tough schedule all year. And I don't think it's much lighter towards the end of the season. But I think that the Browns make this a little closer game than what we think. Now, I would not be shocked if the Bengals come out and hang a 35 spot on them. And I don't think the Browns can score 30 to cover that spread. But I would also think that they go out and I think Nick Chubb is notorious, has pretty good games against the Bengals. So I expect the Browns to run the ball and keep those 3 stud wide receivers and Joey Burrow on the sideline as much as possible. And if that's the case, there's a good chance that this spread does cover for the Browns.
We'll see. Yeah, probably will, but I'm too confident. That's it. Jaguars heading to Nashville. Titans laying 4 points. Right at home, my screen moved on me while I was holding my cursor there, so I lost what I was looking at. Yeah, I thought it was. I'll go first. I'm by myself again. Give me the Jags. I was on them last week. Thought that was going to be a good idea. This would be pretty Doug Peterson kind of thing to do. To like, hey, let's go. Lose by a field goal in Nashville. Titans got embarrassed last week. I don't think that'll happen this week, but that's kind of how the NFL's been. So maybe it will. I don't know. The Jaguars just didn't. They looked like shit last week, so I don't think they'll look that bad again. But I'll take them getting 4 points on the road. So, Abe,
I have the Titans -4. This team is tough to predict. It's when you don't rely on when Henry gets shut down, they get shut down. Fortunately for my pick, his last 2 games he's played full games against the Jaguars. I think he's got his last 2 games. I think he's got about 350 yards, and I think 4 or 5 touchdowns in 2 games against them. His last 2 full games he's played them. So I have the Titans covering the 4 points, and I have a prop of Derrick Henry over 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a couple this game. He's been a couple weeks without one. He fumbled 2 weeks ago at the half-yard line on a reception. And I don't think he got in the box last weekend. So if he did, it was kind of meaningless in my opinion. So I like the Titans to cover 4 and Henry to have a huge game against the Jaguars.
Yep, I'm on the Titans -4. When it comes down to it, I know both teams got embarrassed last week. So I'm going with the embarrassed team playing at home. Like the Titans.
Ravens, Steelers. Steelers laying 2.5 points at home. Kenny Pickett has looked good. Their defense is really good. Lamar's out, and that is why I'm picking the Steelers. Hey,
I'm on the Steelers also. Obviously division game. This is tough. I would have never picked this a couple weeks ago, or if Lamar plays. But that, like you said, Nate, I mean, Pickett's played well. I know that he turns the ball over a lot. I mean, he's a rookie. I get it. This defense does kind of bail him out in certain circumstances. It is a division game once again, so under a field goal at home. Tyler Huntley played really well last year when he played quite a bit. So I'm a little worried about that because he's a very serviceable, real good backup quarterback in my opinion. But ultimately, this game's in Pittsburgh. Pickett's played pretty well. Their defense is awesome, so I'm taking the Steelers -2.5.
And Mike Tomlin's fucking working, so don't talk to him.
Man, I love Mike Tomlin.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
When he said to that dude, that was so funny, dude. It's like halftime. He's like going to meet the team. Like, what? Don't try to take a selfie with him, you dipshit. Like, what was that guy thinking?
I don't know. Who was it? Was that the guy from Barstool? Is that what that was?
No, dude, it was some like random guy. Like, I don't think he was a Barstool. Yeah, I don't think it was a Barstool guy.
Well, he was. I think he was standing next to a Barstool guy, and the guy,
the
Barstool guy, like started shaking his head, laughing, like, "What are you doing?" So
yeah, that was awesome.
So I am the lone duck in this one for Huntley reasons. I like Huntley, man. He actually plays well in this offense. It's one of the only teams where you have a starting QB and a backup QB that could run this offense as efficient as they do and stuff. Huntley filled in last year. He's filling in well this year and everything. Huntley knows the Steelers. It's a divisional game and everything. He knows how they play. He knows their defense. It's pretty much the same defense he played last year. I like the Ravens to win on the foot of Mr. Wow, his name's Tucker.
Justin
Mr.
Tucker.
Yeah. I think he wins this game for them. And freaking player prop that I have is Pickens over 41.5 receiving yards. I don't know if you guys saw, but he is complaining because he ain't getting enough targets and stuff like that. He is a diva receiver. He's complaining that he wants more opportunities. So I think he goes over his 41.5. I think they throw a little bit more to him just to kind of please him, even though he's a rookie and stuff like that. But yeah, I like him over his 41.5 receiving yards, and the Ravens actually outright winning this game.
Okay.
They are better when he gets the ball. I mean, let's be honest. They're better when he has good games. So
yeah. Chiefs traveling to Mile High. Broncos getting 9.5 points at home. They lost a nail biter last week to the Ravens. We say every week how bad Russ is, and that team is just so bad. Like, their defense is very good, but their offense, I just don't get it. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. I got a sweet long shot on this game for later, so I don't got anything else to say about the Chiefs beating the shit out of the Broncos at home.
Hey, Rich, go ahead.
Yeah. So interesting thing is I was looking for a parlay for this week that all the AFC West are going to win their games until I scrolled down to this one and realized they're playing against each other. I was looking for a parlay on that one, but
I think they're actually going to send the Broncos to the minor league, the XFL. They're going to send them the USFL.
Yeah,
so they won't
be
in the division anymore.
But yeah, look, I got I actually got the Chiefs winning this game by 9.5 spread. Initially, it was showing the Broncos at -9.5, so that was the only reason why I actually went with it. I said that was an easy win.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs also.
They don't, and they're not. We know they don't cover, but
they don't cover.
This team sucks. Like they're so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's watched this show before and heard my feelings on the Broncos and Russ Wilson, but he's terrible. He's not a good quarterback anymore. And
I wouldn't let him cook my quarter pounder at McDonald's.
Yeah. Them getting 9.5 points might get them, if you include that 9.5, might get them to 20 this week. I don't know. I mean, it just they can't get there. They're not good. Russ sucks. He's he's just so inconsistent. I don't know what he's trying to cook, but he needs to step away from whatever he's trying to cook because he's not good anymore. So I do have a player prop on this, and I don't know if the props were out when I put this on here. I know Travis Kelce is one of those guys that kind of puts things on himself and on his shoulders. His fumble last week was awfully important. I think he goes absolutely ballistic this week. He's pissed off. I think he thinks that the reason they lost that game against the Bengals was due to his fumble. So look for him to come out and bounce back and have an enormous week. I have him right now just slated at this. I didn't see a prop on this. So I have him for 6 catches, 80 yards, and at least a touchdown right now. I just keep that in mind. I don't know how good the Broncos are against the tight end. I don't really care because it's Travis Kelce. He's like the one of two. Well, he's pretty much the only tight end that's been super consistent all year long. So doesn't matter who you put on him. He's going to score. He's going to find a way. And he's pissed. I think that he is one of those guys that has put that on his shoulders this week and said, this ain't going to happen again. I don't fumble often. So I think that the Chiefs roll them easily. Broncos can't score. And yes, Russ Wilson is definitely fucking trash. He's terrible.
I think he's just cooking doo-doo in the bathroom. That's what he's got all the bathrooms for.
I wanted to bring this back up because I realize this is probably the only time that I'm going to have something in common with an NFL player. I also have more bathrooms in my house than I have touchdown passes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I was looking for some more props. There's no Nick Bolton one either, but he'll probably destroy these guys. By the way, did you see what Jason Kelce wore to the game last weekend? The Titans-Eagles game? Dude, you need to look it up when you're sitting here and we're talking. Look up on your phone, Jason Kelce, like his apparel for the game last week. You're going to lose it when you see it. Panthers traveling to Seattle. Give me the Seahawks laying 4 points at home. I don't know. I know Sam Darnold's a quarterback, and he was better. DJ Moore actually scored. They're on bye last week before. But I think the Seahawks defense gets back to what they were doing. Tariq Woolen's a dog. That team just as a whole is playing well. I know Kenny Walker's probably out again. Yeah, isn't that awesome, baby? Yeah. Dude, but I think DJ Dallas and Travis Homer will be able to tote the rock. And I think Geno will do just fine. So give me the Seahawks laying the points at home. There you go. I saw it.
So I have the Seahawks covering 4 also. Carolina, I said this when I chose Seattle earlier for my pick'em pool. Carolina they've been kind of up and down. They've been, out to the West Coast a few times this year. That takes a toll on teams. You never know who your quarterback is. You never know who your running back is. That's why I'm picking the Seahawks -4. It does make a big difference when Seattle can't run the ball. But Homer's, he's played for whatever reason, quite a bit the last few years. DJ Dallas, I don't know if he's healthy enough to play this week, but they do have guys that can do it. Geno's been good. He's been good all year. He's kind of come back down to earth a little bit the last few weeks, but he's still been very, very solid. And you have guys on the outside that are great weapons. I mean, Metcalf, Lockett. I think Lockett scored in 5 straight games. So that's going to be tough to beat. So I have the Seahawks covering the 4 points. Go ahead, Rich.
Oh, man, you guys are very convincing. But I am picking Panthers.
McCaffrey doesn't play for them anymore, right?
Yeah, I know. But they do got a nice running back there, Foreman. He's been doing the job, let's say. Not maybe McCaffrey job, but between him and Chuba Hubbard, they've kind of been getting it there and stuff. And I just
go Cowboys.
I like the Panthers defense against Geno. Geno he had a great game last week against the Rams, but it was a close game against the Rams and stuff like that. And I know it's a divisional game and everything, but I don't know, man. There's just something about the Panthers. Is it Sam Darnold? Did Sam Darnold play last week?
He did.
The week before, yeah.
The week before.
That's right. They were on a bye.
DJ Moore had like 104 or 5 yards and a touchdown.
Man, I just like the Panthers, man. Sam Darnold is a rock star. I'll just say it like that. Sam Darnold's going to carry this team to the victory promised land. I like DJ Moore having a nice game in this one after last week's game. Yeah, I like it. I'm more confident about it. Don't know why, but I am.
I'm glad I talked you into it. Bucks Niners. Is this going to be the game of the week? Probably.
This is going to be the game of the week where it freaking ends in a -3 +3, and we're all six
it has
ties.
To be. Like nobody else.
Game
wants to
of the
watch
week and the over under is sitting at 37 right now. That's what the NFL has gone to this year.
Yeah. I know Tampa Bay looked good last week. Like not for a while till the fourth quarter they looked good. That offense is really weird to me. It's like I don't know if they don't have an identity or what. Just some weird stuff going on. You know, like you'd think that they'd have more success with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You know, Julio made a sweet catch, I guess, but that team is just.
Did the offensive line players getting hurt that bad really affect this? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because they were. I mean, what is it? Well, Tristan Wirfs is unreal. You know, that offensive line was so good. And that I think that is huge, you know, because that hurts Tom. You know, Tom, if you can make Tom when he steps up in the pocket, he's money. But if he has to move it all, that's where he struggles, you know, and so I just think he is going to struggle against this defense. We saw it last week. Mm-hmm. That this 49ers defense is fucking amazing.
And that's the only reason why I'm picking the 49ers.
I mean, Tua looked really good. So give me the Niners laying 3 points at home.
Yeah, look, I'm picking 49ers too. Look, this defense is what's going to carry them. And don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy filled in pretty nice last week.
Those Cyclones
went out. So, like I said, he did fill in nice. Do they? I feel like they stay with him this week, but they did bring in Josh Johnson.
Why would they go away from him?
I agree.
It doesn't matter. It's Kyle Shanahan. Like that's how good a quarterback coach he is. That's the only reason that Trey Lance might succeed in 5 years. Like
he's not going to succeed. That's Marcus Russell.
It's like I mean that beat hard dude from Iowa that wasn't very good. He looked good for a couple games. Nick Mullins looked fine, got paid. Like, you know, just give him because they said Jimmy Garoppolo's not getting surgery. He said he might come back.
Yeah, I saw that. But man. That defense is. I just keep on going back to the defense. Look, and the offense is good too. Don't get me wrong. The offense is great with all but because of the QB and everything, that's going to be feasible for him to still succeed. But
they can just give the ball to McCaffrey. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Abe.
Yeah, I'm on the Niners also, and the main reason is both of you guys kind of hit it on the head. Their defense. I mean, you put pressure on Brady, and their offensive line's been beat up all year long. It was beat up, you know, in the first week of August. And they haven't really done anything to shore it up. When they've tried, they've put pieces together. It just never worked out. You have two stud wide receivers on the outside. I think he's missing Gronk more than we've ever seen before. It's just an offense that, you know, when you talk about Godwin and Evans and Tom Brady, the best ever, you would think that they'd put up more than 17 points a week, and they don't. You know, we've seen quarterbacks that are older struggling this year, like Brady, Rodgers, Russ Wilson. You know, we've seen these guys, and Brady's the one guy that's had a lot of weapons around him and still has struggled to put up points. And that's baffling to me. I think that they want to play Rachaad White more, but they have Lenny Fournette, who's good at protecting Brady, and Brady needs that. But if Brady has to, like what Nate said, if Brady has to shuffle even a few feet to the side, even him shuffling a little bit seems slower than what it used to be in the past. It used to be he was really good at just making a sidestep and throwing, and that ball came out quick and fast. And it seems like when he makes a sidestep now, he's indecisive and doesn't know if he can get the ball to Evans down the sideline or Godwin coming across the middle, or he doesn't have the confidence in Cade Otton running a seam route or whatever it may be. So he's dropping the ball off a ton to Fournette and Rachaad White, and they're dinking and dunking it all the way down the field. And that works in a prevent defense when a team is up, 13, and it works late, and those things are great for them. But ultimately, against a defense like the Niners that feasts on that, if they do get a lead, he's going to struggle. He won't have that comeback that he's had the last 2 out of 3 weeks when he's done that, or 2 out of 4 weeks, whatever it's been, when he's done that. And so I ultimately think the Niners defense takes over this game. We got to give props to Brock Purdy, like you said. And that guy, he came in, he looked ultimately so confident in that game. And now you have, an offensive-minded coach and Shanahan that's saying, this is what we're going to set up for you. We have we have a ton of weapons on our team. We're going to get the ball out for you quick. We're going to give the ball to to Christian McCaffrey. There's going to be a lot of options for him to do and not make big enough mistakes to get them to the playoffs. And if Jimmy G comes back, that's great. But this is a team that's going to rely on the run game a lot more, and you're going to see Debo in the backfield a little bit more. You're going to see quick passes to Kittle, even quick slants to Ayuk, and see if he can take them to the house. You're going to see a lot more of that this week. And the 49ers, I think, just scheme better, have a better defense, and ultimately we see they struggle again to score points. And I think the Niners cover 3 because of that.
Shit, I'm 5'4", and man, I'd walk out into the offense as a QB feeling confident with McCaffrey sitting on my side.
Yeah, I mean, Abe and I watched firsthand 3 years ago the game where Jimmy G threw the ball 9 times. They ran the shit out of the ball. They fucking destroyed the Packers. They had 300 yards before contact. They won by 20, throwing the ball 9 times. That's what they'll do.
I mean, let's not discount. I mean, Tampa Bay's got a good defense.
Yeah.
So, and that's why this over/under is sitting at 37, is because I think that they think like, hey, Brady has not thrown the ball deep downfield. They can't put up points. The Niners are going to run the ball a ton. The Niners have a great defense. It's going to be a low-scoring game. But ultimately, the defense wins out. The coaching staff wins out. And I think a better schemed offense wins out. And the Niners win all of those battles.
Yep. Sunday Night Football, Dolphins traveling back to the West Coast where they just got their ass beat.
I think they stayed out there, actually.
That probably makes sense. They stayed at Mike's house. His old place where he was coaching.
Yeah.
Go to LA Chargers, getting 3.5 points at home. Rich, you can go first.
Yeah, I think Chargers. This is typical Chargers. Typical Chargers start out decent.
Bogarts to the Padres.
Yeah, and just fall apart. Man, I think Dolphins are gonna. They have more offensive power. They have young studs everywhere in that offense, where Herbert's the only young stud in that offense and stuff like that. Maybe Mike Williams comes back this week. If I knew he was playing 100%, I might change my pick on this. But freaking the Chargers defense is, they are just reeling and stuff like that. Just the only thing they got going is freaking their safety. That's all they got going as far as their defense. I like the Dolphins to win this game. They got to win for their division, to keep up with the Bills.
I'm looking up this over/under right now. So, Nate, you want to go?
Yeah, give me the Chargers getting points at home. Dolphins looked like shit last week. I think that maybe some of the guys on the Chargers defense get right, but probably not because their coach sucks. That's kind of bothers me. But, I just got to take the Chargers. I thought the Dolphins looked terrible. And I think, whether they say like staying out there helps, like that kind of made you screw with you a little bit too. I don't have much confidence after last week. I know it's a different defense, so the Dolphins will probably blow them out, but I'll take the Chargers getting points at home. Why not?
So the last time the Dolphins and Chargers played on primetime, Jared and I went out to San Diego and to watch them, and due to the fires, they never even played in San Diego. That got moved to Arizona. So, I mean, not that has anything to do with it because that was like 20 years ago or something. But anyways, Dolphins looked really bad last week. Chargers have not looked good all year. There's been times where I'm like, oh, Herbert, he looks good. The ball's coming out of his hands quick. It's coming out solid. Like he's setting his feet better. I don't know what's happened to Austin Eckler, why he can't score anymore. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's wearing down a little bit. The Dolphins, they first play last week, 75-yard touchdown. Then after that, it was, Tua got a lot of pressure on him, kind of threw the ball off his back foot a little bit. Not a little bit. He did it often. And the Chargers don't have that great of a defense. But ultimately, I think 3.5 points for a team at home against the Dolphins team that struggled last week and a Chargers team that always struggles, but has playmakers, has weapons, supposedly has a great defense, but they're not their defense is terrible.
Defensive minded coach. He's great.
No, he's not good at all. He's
that guy fucking sucks.
I think this game is a field goal game. I think that this should be a pretty fun game to watch on Sunday Night Football. But I do think it comes down to a field goal. So that's why I'm taking the Chargers because of that hook, because the Chargers get 3.5.
Man,
yeah,
you guys are going with the Chargers. I kind of understand it, and you guys keep on saying how bad the Dolphins look. They played against the 49ers. Everybody looks bad against them. That defense just shut them down and stuff like that. Chargers defense don't have the players to shut down the offensive weapons that they have.
Are the tackles playing? Is Teron Armstead back? Is his right tackle back for the Dolphins?
I don't even know. I've not seen.
I mean, that's huge. So, and I don't think
it is. I get it and stuff. Waddle played injured last week. I think he got another week to recover and stuff like that. So I think he's going to be more involved. Wilson was a non-factor, which I guess if you really sit there and think about it, you got to think about it this way. Okay. A lot of the coach and Wilson, look, they came from the 49ers, and the narrative last week.
I told you guys that last week that Shanahan knew old Mike McDaniel or McDaniel.
There you go. I mean, that's the point I was getting at. The narrative was too that McDaniels and them knew the 49ers, but it was also the other way around, and he knew what to do to shut them down.
You think Tua is going to throw any of those sweet pop fly comeback balls for Tyreek?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Tyreek's so awesome. It does not matter.
Well, I think what hurt them last week was he's usually out there standing in center field waiting on the ball he had to come back to.
I think that hurt them last week is Waddle. Waddle was banged up. Waddle didn't look good. And then a couple of times when Waddle was open in the middle of the field, Tua just flat out overthrew him, and it wasn't even close. So we'll see if Tua corrects that, and if he's throwing the ball well, can this game get into a shootout? I mean, I would not doubt it. This game gets over the 51.5.
You see, another thing where Hill knows Chargers too. Hill owns him.
Josh Palmer's about to.
Hill owns a lot of
Dolphins. Yeah. Monday Night Football, Patriots, Cardinals. I'm taking Patriots. Cardinals only won like one game at home this year. Tyler's a dickhead. That team's not good. The Patriots aren't that good either, but I think Bill will make them. They can win this game. So I'll take him. I'll take him giving up 2 points on the road.
Another team coming off a bye from last week. That's the reason why I like him. They got time to recover and stuff like that. Gives Murray another week to kind of heal up from his injuries and everything. Hopkins is going to have a huge game in this game, I believe. I think the Cardinals are going to own the Patriots.
I'm taking the Cardinals +2 at home. Also, I'm not sold on the Patriots. I never have been. I know that we talk about Belichick on how great he is and he schemes, and you think he's going to do one thing and he does something else because he's such a mastermind. I think he's an awesome coach, but I don't believe in this team right now. I think that when they have no shot at winning, I think that they make it a game like they did on Thursday Night Football of Thanksgiving. And Mac Jones looked great, threw the ball all over the field. Then all of a sudden they just go and force the run. And they didn't have who's their other running back besides Ramondre? I can't think of his name right now.
Harris.
Yeah. I think that he's an identity that they need to run the ball. I don't think he's their number one guy by any means because I don't think he's that good, but he does run the ball pretty well. I don't know if he's going to play this week. Ultimately, I'm not sold on the Patriots. I don't think they're a good team. Bill Belichick, I know this is really difficult for me to say, but he's just not as good of a coach without Brady. It was easy to scheme and do all those things when you had Tom on the other side, but they don't have that anymore. They just I don't think they play that great against teams that are supposed to be good. Belichick knows to take away certain people. Like, I guess I'm a little bitter because last week I thought that they would do something to shut down the Bills, and they didn't do it. And it just looked like they didn't care. Like their scheme was not good, and it just was not impressive against the Bills team. And it just kind of made me a little bit bitter against the Patriots. So I'm taking the Cardinals +2.
Yeah, another factor on this game too with the bye last week is another week for Marquise Brown to get healthy. He's coming back. He's going to be a lot more healthier. And you have Marquise Brown and DeAndre Hopkins as your receivers. Man, this is just setting up for them after coming out of a bye for a nice home win that they need.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. They said they don't win at home. Long shots of the week. You like this? Did you guys see what I put down there? That's a good one. Chiefs -22. Alternate spread. That's all I like. I couldn't find a good one. I searched and searched, tried to make good parlay. Yeah, so give me the Chiefs cover 22 points on the road.
I love it. We say they can't cover their own spread, but I love them covering 22. So
I'm gonna double it
against a shitty ass Russ Wilson Broncos.
Yeah,
I love it. My long shot bet. I need to get up after I say this, but my long shot bet is touchdowns, and it's 2 touchdowns each for Derrick Henry, who has not scored. Jamal Williams, who scores all the time in a I think that game's going to be high scoring. And then Eckler has 2 touchdowns. I parlay all of them to score 2 touchdowns each. I think I can't do it right now because I don't have touchdown spreads out. But that should be probably around 100-1 is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, at least.
And all 3 of these guys can score 2 touchdowns in a game. So that is my long shot bet of the week. I like that. It's one thing that I put together. Eckler has not found the end zone lately. Hopefully he does. Jamal Williams finds it all the time. Just when you think DeAndre Swift's going to score or something like that, they just go right back to Williams. And he gets his couple of carries and gets his touchdowns. That's what he does. So, and then Derrick Henry, he can score at any time of the game. So I have 2 touchdowns each, Henry, Jamal Williams, and Eckler. I don't know what that parlay will look like. I'm guessing it'll be around 100-1.
Yeah, I like it. My parlay for the week. Not my parlays. My long shot of the week. I was trying to find some parlays, but it was just hard to find some interesting ones. Is I am taking Mike White 300 plus passing yards, or let me rephrase that. Magic Mike White Lightning 300 plus passing yards, and Diggs 100 plus receiving yards. It's plus 475.
Hell yeah, I like that. There's Abe.
All right, cheers. Long shots.
I already drank mine, but I'll take another swig.
Is that Baja Blast in there?
Man, it's good.
Nah, it was it wasn't Baja Blast, but it was Taco Bell Dr. Pepper. When I got home, I spiced it up with some real liquor.
Boy. Confidence pool. Last week, I think I had 2 points. Or no, yeah, we all had 2 points last week. So Abe came back to earth. Probably won't last.
He came back down to us.
Yeah, back down to us. This week, I like the Raiders -6, the Eagles -7, the Bengals -6, Seahawks -4, and Steelers -2.5. Real quick, I know I said it, forgot to say it. The way it works, you get a point for if they cover the spread, half a point if it's push, and no points if it is a loss. So those are my 5. Abe?
My first 2-point week since week 3. I've had 2.5 or more since week 3. So I'm going to try to make a big comeback this week. I'm bragging. I got the Vikings plus 2.5 or 2, whatever that spread is. Cardinals plus 2, Raiders -6, Chargers plus 3.5, and Titans -4.
Yeah, so I started out kind of the same thing, and I'm sure it changed, but I went with Vikings plus 2.5, Ravens plus 2.5, Cardinals plus 2.5. You can change it. I was going with the plus 2.5 theme is where I started at because I was confident in all those. And then I also have the Titans -4 and the 49ers -3.
Hell yeah. Well, anything else? Oh, earlier, if you're watching on YouTube, you saw Abe and I get mad. Xander Bogaerts signed with the Padres, 11 years, $280 million. That's kind of a bummer to me. That'd have been a fun one. Abe, I'm sorry that Wilson Contreras is a Cardinal. That's kind of wild to me. I didn't think we'd go from one Hall of Fame catcher to a potential another Hall of Fame catcher. So, sorry.
I did think that would happen.
I had no idea.
Unfortunately, I did think. I actually called that yesterday that it had happened. So, yeah, it's pretty tough being a Cubs fan, seeing Willie go down to St. Louis. So,
hey, you know what? Is he gonna just really not try and for payback for us sending Jason Hayward to you guys?
No, I don't. The good thing is I think Major League Baseball, I don't think it's next year. Maybe it isn't this coming year, but either this year or the next year, they're lowering division games so everyone plays everyone. So at least we only have to face Willie 9 to 10 times a year instead of 19. So I don't know if that starts this year or the year after, but regardless, it's That's disappointing. That was one of my favorites. That you had 5 or 6 really good rookies, and now they're all gone from the Cubs. So it's disappointing.
MLB's wild. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. You guys got anything else before we get out of here?
No,
ready
sir.
For some playoffs.
Hey, next week starts a lot of playoffs for fantasy football. So, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah, like I said, hit us up. You got those questions too. Like I said, check us on Twitter at Total Titles, at FreedomBandito_FF, at Nate_Dirt19, and at MVinFF. Like I said, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all soon. Yeah, have a good night.